Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting edition of Severe Weather Outlook right here on the EdPC Severe Weather Outlook YouTube channel. Today's date is Friday, June 19th, 2026, and it's currently 5:16 in the evening. And today we have the Day 2 Civil Outlook for the United States. And I can tell you, Ali, this one is a big area of North severe weather. So, anyways, let's get down to business. All right. So it looks to me here we have a enhanced light and then a marginal risk for severe weather for tomorrow. And as you can see, the orange does cover parts of Nebraska, all into portions of western and including parts of central Kansas and a little bit of southwest Kansas. And followed by that, we have the light risk. The light risk covers all the way up to portions of South Dakota and portions of Wyoming and Nebraska, Colorado, as well as southwest Kansas and south central Kansas, and portions of northeast Kansas, and also parts of Missouri. Also, the marginal does cover the Oklahoma and Texas, and as well as parts of Kansas and Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, North Dakota, Wyoming and Montana, a little bit of Montana, and of course Colorado, as well as we also have a little bit of marginal for the Utah and a little bit of Idaho areas for tomorrow, which is kind of interesting. Anyway, the most large populable areas that are in the Day 2 enhanced risk are going to be Salina, Kansas, Manhattan, Kansas, Curley, Nebraska, Garden City, Kansas, and Hastings, Nebraska. And then in the light risk areas are going to be Kansas City, Missouri, Wichita, Kansas, Lincoln, Nebraska, Overland Park, Kansas, and last but not least, Kansas City, Kansas. And then next up in the marginal area, we have Omaha, Nebraska, Des Moines, Iowa, Amarillo, Texas, Salt Lake City, Utah, and last but not least, Fort Collins, Colorado. Next up here, we have the tornado graphic map, and we have a CIG1 for portions for western and central Kansas, and it also does include a little bit of south central Kansas as well, as well as northeast Kansas as well, in the and parts of Colorado and Nebraska are in this CIG1, as well as we have a 5% as well in that area in western Kansas and parts of south central Kansas and parts of northeast Kansas and Nebraska and a little bit of Colorado. And then next up we have a level 2 area risk for the threat for tornadoes in south central Kansas, southwest Kansas, portions of Missouri, Iowa, and Nebraska, South Dakota, I should say, probably, and portions of Wyoming and Colorado, and of course Texas, and Oklahoma, I just say. And the areas that are in the day 2 tornado Rick in the CIG1 are gonna be Salina, Kansas, Manhattan, Kansas, Grand Island, Nebraska, Carlin, Nebraska, and North Platte, Nebraska. And then in the 5% area for the tornado threat, it's going to be Lincoln, Nebraska, Topeka, Kansas, Salina, Kansas, Manhattan, Kansas, Grand Island, Nebraska. And then finally in the level 2 area for the tornado threat alley are going to be Kansas City, Missouri, Omaha, Nebraska, Wichita, Kansas, Amarillo, Texas, and Overland Park, Kansas are going to be in that area for the threat for severe weather. So there's that. And then next up is we have the damaging wind graphic map here, where we have on the day 2 wind Rick, we have a CIG1, a 30%, a 15%, and then a 5% area for severe weather. I mean, I should say wind, of course, for damaging wind. And this CIG1 covers Texas, Kansas, Missouri, a little bit of Missouri, Iowa, and Nebraska, and Colorado. And the areas that are in this, that are in the CIG1 are Kansas City, Missouri, Omaha, Nebraska, Wichita, Kansas, Lincoln, Nebraska, and last but not least, Amarillo, Texas, I should say. And then areas that are in the 30% area for damaging wind are Salina, Kansas, Manhattan, Kansas, Carlin, Nebraska, Hastings, Nebraska, and Hays, Kansas. And then in the 15% area, we have Kansas City, Missouri, Wichita, Kansas, Lincoln, Nebraska, Overland Park, Kansas, and last but not least, Kansas City, Kansas, in the 15%. And then last but not least, the 5% area for wind will be Omaha, Nebraska, Des Moines, Iowa, Amarillo, Texas, Salt Lake City, Utah, and West Valley City, Utah. And then last but not least, we have the large hail graphic map, where we have on the day 2 hail Rick, we have a CIG1, a 30%, a 15%, and then a 5%. And where the CIG1 covered is going to be Wyoming, Nebraska, portion of western and southwest Kansas, and portion of Colorado, and then the 30% covered western and southwest Kansas, and the 15% covered western and parts of north central and parts of southwest Kansas as well, and then the 15% covered south central Kansas, northeast Kansas, and a little bit of southwest Kansas, and Texas, Oklahoma, Colorado, and Montana, Wyoming, Nebraska, and Iowa and Missouri. And in the CIG1 area, we have Fort Collins, Colorado, Greeley, Colorado, Loveland, Colorado, Cheyenne, Wyoming, Brighton, Colorado. And then the only area that are in the 30% is Garden City, Kansas, which is surprising. And then in the 15% area, Hellrick, we have excuse me. We have Grand Island, Nebraska, Cardley, Nebraska, Curdley, Nebraska, Dodge City, Kansas, North Platte, Nebraska, and Hastings, Nebraska. And last but not least, in the 5% area, we have Kansas City, Missouri, Omaha, Nebraska, Wichita, Kansas, Lincoln, Nebraska, and then Des Moines, Iowa. And then last but not least, we have everything that says what will happen for the threat of severe weather as it goes into Saturday afternoon into the evening hours here. There could be very large hail, severe wind with up to some 75 miles an hour, and tornadoes are possible. So that is what we could see that could happen, of course, and so definitely. And feel free to pause the video at any time if you want to read, Ali. So please pause now if you'd like to read, if you want to, Ali. Alright, everyone, well, that is gonna wrap it up here for this edition of Severe Weather Outlook. I hope you guys stay very safe out there, and I will be back later. Lastly, I'll be back tomorrow for another day 1 outlook for severe weather. Until next time, stay safe and have a great day, Ali. Bye bye.